This is a Brooklyn News special report.
Hi everybody, it's so good to be with you on this Sunday afternoon about 3:36 p.m. At the top of the hour, we have some breaking news. Good to be with you. This is a Brooklyn News special report. Just in moments ago, we learned from a statement from President Biden's office that the president was diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. I want to read you a statement coming straight from the personal office of former President Joe Biden. It reads, quote, "Last week, President Joe Biden was seen for a new finding of a prostate nodule after experiencing increasing urinary symptoms. On Friday, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, characterized by Gleason score of 9, grade group 5, with metastasis up to the bone. While this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. The president and his family are reviewing treatment options with his physician." So again, the big news there, that word aggressive, calling this an aggressive form of prostate cancer. I mean, this comes after just, I believe it was last week, President Biden and Jill Biden both appeared on The View, a popular left leaning talk show on ABC. But the good news here, when you're reading this on President Biden, obviously now seen for a prostate nodule, and when diagnosed with prostate cancer, the good news there, that little quote that says, "The cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management." That is the positive news when we are looking at this. So that's what we're getting. I want to see, as we're kind of coming on the air for this breaking news, let's see if we have any reaction possibly coming in, maybe from President Donald Trump or anything of that nature. It does not appear that we do, as we're standing by to see if we get any new updates. I will say, I'm sure we're getting some pouring in reaction because this is all just coming in, of course. I want to see if I can't see if we got any news. Any major reaction just yet? I mean, of course, this was all about... Let me see when we got this message from President Biden's team. Let me see when that was posted. Apologies here. I'm kind of just looking for... Let me see if I can get... So again, as we're coming on the air for this Brooklyn News Special Report, we have learned that former President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. We're approaching 3:40 Central Time. As this news is all just coming in, all I can tell you is the message from Biden's press office. I want to see if we can't... I'm going to show it to you guys here on your screen here in just a moment. This is the letter that we got coming in from former President Joe Biden. Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys. It's going to be just a second. There we go. Let's see if we can't get this in right here. Properties. 1 second. Working on a few things here. It's going to be that right there. Alrighty, let's see if we can't get this on your screen now. Take a look there. That is the message received from the office. And that is kind of what I had just read to you guys. Let me see if I can do like this. Oh, there we go. That works much better. Let's see if that will hold on together. So it reads, oh, actually, that messed it up just a little bit. So let's go back. Okay, so it reads, and I'll read it all in its entirety to you all as we're watching this breaking news coverage of this all. It is... I'll read the big sentences to you guys, the sentences that really mean the most. It says, I'll read the first little part. "Last week, President Joe Biden was seen for a new finding of a prostate nodule after experiencing increasing urinary symptoms. On Friday, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer characterized by a Gleason score of non-grade group 5 with metastasis to the bone. While this represents a more aggressive, that word aggressive there, really showing a little bit of importance to what this all means of the disease. While it does say the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management. And as I had mentioned when we kind of had first come on the air, this comes as a pretty big finding due to the fact that President Biden was seen on The View just last week, and what also in that message from the personal press office there of former President Joe Biden, it says that it has spread to his bone. So that is also something key here to constantly be looking at. And then we're kind of waiting to see if we get any more news coming from this, any type of reaction. So you're seeing me there kind of scrolling X to see if we got anything coming in. I know kind of waiting to see if we have any reaction coming in. So stand by with me to see if we got any more major news coming in. So kind of standing by for that to come in. While we do that, I am going to kind of leave you guys on this shot of the White House right now because I do need to make a post to my social media pages on this news because it's all, again, just coming in. Pretty major breaking news. So again, if you'll stand by with me for just a moment, I have to get this out to my social media pages really quickly. Let's see if I can't get the... Oh, 1 second, everybody. 1 second. Alrighty, so again, if you're just joining us, the major news coming in that President Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. This comes after he saw the doctor on Friday. That's when he was diagnosed with this after showing urinary symptoms. That is according to this message that we're getting from the personal office of President Biden. And I would vow to say that as a, I believe he's, let me get the correct age. I want to say 82, 3. He's 82 years old. So, as an 82-year-old man, I think you could voucher to say that it will take some time for his body to heal to this. But of course, he has, I would voucher also to say that he has a very good medical team by his side to handle this. Again, this breaking news just coming in that former President Biden has been diagnosed with prostate cancer. So so much to talk about here. President Biden, just again, as I mentioned earlier in our special coverage here, he was seen recently on The View, and I'm wondering if we're able to possibly pull that up. I'm getting a post ready for you guys for our social media pages. Again, this all just coming in as we have come on the air. President Joe Biden former President Joe Biden, rather, diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. While in that release from the personal office of President Biden, it also goes to say that it is treatable. So that's something to kind of remember here in this all. I'm trying to get a post out right now on our social media pages, so if you'll stand by with me for that, we'll have that out. What we are going to do really quickly here, though, while I get this post out for you, we are going to take a quick break from our special report. We will be right back in just a moment. I'm wondering if I can get this pulled up. Maybe this? Nope. Okay. So, if you'll give me just 1 second. Again, the news coming in right at this the top of the hour here. Former President Joe Biden diagnosed with prostate cancer. We are going to take and sneak in just a quick break on this special report so I can get post out on social media. And when we come back, we'll continue analyzing this news all just coming in that former President Joe Biden was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Alrighty, welcome back from that short break. I apologize for having to even put you guys on a break, but had to get some news out on to social media pages. Good day, good to be with you. We are approaching the 4 o'clock hour here, nearly 10 minutes away. As you take a look at the right side of your screen at the White House, former President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. I was reading off just the details that have come in from the personal press office of President Biden, saying that this is also treatable. So that is the good news to look at here. But again, President Joe Biden, former President Biden, diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. This comes after a diagnosis on, I believe it was Friday, according to that release. I'm working to get to see if we have any more details coming in. People sending their thoughts in prayer, so we're waiting to see if we can get any news like that. So this all coming in within the last about 30 minutes or so when we learned of this news, and I've shared that message with you guys. We're kind of waiting to see if we can get any kind of big news here. I do want to say that the Nebraska Democratic Party has now come out to, sorry, I'm just looking for some reaction here, but the Nebraska Democratic Party now coming out to say, quote, praying for President Biden in these times. The cancer is an aggressive form of the disease in the former president, but it can be effectively managed. That is what that release said. It says Joe Biden is a good and decent man who led this country with honor. We are all behind Jen. I'm actually wondering if I'm able to find that interview that President Biden and Jill Biden did. It was with The View. Let me see if I can't get that pulled up for you guys as we kind of watch this all come in. That President Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. Apologies for me looking over here, trying to see if we can't get this in. I will say that we are. Again, this all just coming in moments ago. So let me see if I can't get President Biden and Jill Biden on The View. Which I would also like to say that I heard Ana Navarro, which is a host on The View, speaking on. Okay, this is about a 10-minute interview. It's from The View, and it talks about how he was pressed on his ability to handle the White House, if that kind of makes sense there. So let's see. I'm trying to get it pulled up for you guys. Here we go. So this was the video off of YouTube. This is from The View, courtesy of The View. Let's listen in here to this interview.
Advocate for women's rights and a devoted wife of 47 years. Please welcome back former First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden.
Alrighty, so you're seeing Jill Biden be brought in there. I'm wondering if there's a way that I can let me go back to the White House shot here, and I'm gonna kind of see if I can't skip through a little bit to where he's pressed on his cognitive ability. Let's see if we can get that there. Let's listen back in now.
In the final year of your presidency, what is your response to these allegations, or are these sources wrong?
They are wrong. There's nothing to sustain that, number one. Number two, think of what we were left with. We were left with a circumstance where we had an insurrection when I started, not since the Civil War. We had a circumstance where we were in a position that the pandemic, because of the incompetence of the last outfit, end up over 1 million people dying. And we're also in a situation where we found ourselves unable to deal with a lot of just basic issues, and which I won't go into in the interest of time. And so we went to work, and we got it done. And one of the things and
Alyssa, one of the things I think is that the people who wrote those books were not in the White House with us. And they didn't see how hard Joe worked every single day. I mean, he'd get up, he'd put in a full day, and then at night I'd be in bed, reading my book, and he was still on the phone reading his briefings, working with staff. I mean, it was nonstop. It's the White House. Being president is not like a job. It's a lifestyle. It's a life that you live. You live it 24 hours a day. That phone can ring at 11 o'clock at night or 2 in the morning. It's constant. You never leave it. And Joe worked really hard. I think he was a great president. And if you look at things today, give me Joe Biden anytime.
That's worth the invitation to come to the show.
And Mr. President, just to follow up on this, some of the reporting is that people like the former president you served under, Barack Obama, George Clooney, a longtime supporter of yours, major Democratic donor, Chuck Schumer, your dear friend Nancy Pelosi, also had expressed concerns about your ability to do the job for 4 more years. Can I ask what your relationship is with President Obama and how you address those concerns that they raised?
Well, look, I think that the only reason I got out of the race was because I didn't want to have a divided Democratic Party. It was a simple proposition. And so that's why I got out of the race. I thought it was better to put the country ahead of my interest, my personal interest. I'm not being facetious. I'm being deadly earnest about that.
Yeah, we know.
And I think that, we still, let's put it this way, I had 6 more months. I did a pretty good job in 6 months. Yeah. As a president.
Alrighty, so that was an interview with The View from a little bit earlier. Let's kind of talk and break down what that all meant. I'm still kind of listening to it here because it's just from my screen. So that was President Biden earlier that was about 10 days ago. This was on May 8th. So yeah, 10 days ago here. So speaking on this aggressive form of prostate cancer, which she was diagnosed with. So let's see. I'm just trying to see what kind of news we've got going on here. Apologies here, seeing if we can get if we have anything else coming in. So it's been about it's May now, so the 5th month in the year, so about 5 months since the president left the White House, and I think you could vow to even say that The View was his first moment outside of after he was president. This is his first public appearance since he was president. I should say his first on broadcast appearance, and then his first appearance he had like a little speech, I believe. So for this news to come in like this, of course, I would say it's a pretty big surprise. This is not something that was expected. I will note, I do want to go back a little bit in the history of President Biden's health because I'm sorry, that's what I was stuttering over my words here because I was looking for the history of President Biden's health, and in a story written by the Associated Press, it reads, quote, in February 2023, Biden had a skin lesion removed from his chest that was a basal cell carcinoma, a common form of skin cancer, and in November 2021, rather, he had a polyp removed from his colon that was benign but potentially precancerous lesion. So that coming in, it also says in 2022, Biden made a cancer moonshot of his administration's priorities with the goal of having the cancer death rate over the next 25 years. The initiative was a continuation of his work as vice president to address a disease that had killed his older son Bo. So that's also something to mention. And as we talk about this is not something that we had. This is not something new to his family. His own son Bo had died of cancer. Let me. So Bo Biden, he passed away. I believe it was during his vice presidency. He had I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to pronounce this, but it was a highly aggressive type of brain cancer. So he died in 2015. So that would have been towards the end of President Biden's vice presidency under Obama. Um, at the age of 46, it says at which time he was a candidate for the Democratic nomination for governor of Delaware in the 2016 gubernatorial election. A portion of the 21st Century Cures Act was named the Bo Biden Cancer Moonshot Initiative after him, and that's what we were kind of talking about, that moonshot initiative. As we approach the top of the hour, the big news here for just joining us: President Joe Biden diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. We're going to kind of wrap up our coverage here at the top of the hour. I want to thank you all for joining me for the last 25 minutes or so for this Brooklyn News special report, but that is going to do it for us. Again, the news here: former President Joe Biden diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer. We were listening to him in a View interview earlier where he talks. He left the not the Democratic Party, but excuse me, he left the nomination for the he left the nomination for president of the United States just because he didn't want to have the Democratic Party no longer backing him. That is going to do it for me on this Brooklyn News special report, though. You can, of course, catch me at all of my social media pages, at Jackson Mitchell BN on Instagram, at Jackson MITCHEBN on X, Jackson Mitchell on Facebook, and don't forget to like and subscribe right here on YouTube. Thank you for watching. This Brooklyn News special report has concluded.